Ahoy! And welcome to the Boating Hour with Captain Rick. The Boating Hour brings you the latest and greatest essential information about everything that sails, floats, or motors upon the high seas of Southern California. From landlubbers to old salts, there'll be something for everyone. So climb aboard and get ready to sail with Captain Rick.
Ahoy out there, and welcome to the Boating Hour. I'm Captain Rick, and I want to thank you for joining us here on AM 870. We're here every Saturday at 4 p.m., and please be sure to visit us on the web at theboatinghour.com. And now all over social media on Instagram and Facebook and Rumble and YouTube. Make sure you check us out and give us a like. Thanks to our sponsor for our show today. For a healthy gut, the best probiotic on the market, Livia One Probiotics, natural, organic, and allergen-free. And if you listen to the show, you know that I open and close with that we're always so very fortunate to have such wonderful and exciting guests. I got a wonderful guest for you coming up in a minute. Last week's guest was Mario from Mario's Italian Cafe, and right now he's got his car show going on as this show airs. So make sure you look at the link and go to the Mario's Italian Cafe, meet the family, and look at the cars. It'll be wonderful. I'm up at Pacific Corinthian Yacht Club in Oxnard on this day as this show airs. But today, we have an exciting guest, Wade Nichols, a fisherman and bait and tackle shop owner, a boater, coming to the show. So, Wade, welcome to the Boating Hour with Captain Rick.
Hello, hello.
You know, I didn't do you justice. You know, you're a Renaissance man. So I want you to introduce yourself. Tell us what you do, and then let's talk about how you got into boating. We'll talk about the businesses and all the exciting things you do. So let's give a little history to you, because I'm calling you the Renaissance man.
The Renaissance man. Okay, well, listen, I'm 59 years young. I probably look 49 and I act 12. So, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, I've been self-employed my whole working career. I'm currently in the food industry. I don't own the tackle stores anymore. That was probably about 20 years ago that I had the tackle stores. But nevertheless, I had them for probably about 5-6 years and had a lot of fun, fished with all the celebrities, Dan Hernandez and Michael Folks and, you know, people like that. But currently I'm in the food industry. I actually create salad products that are sold in the major retailers. I deliver to about 1,500 stores. And so I basically do all the sales and marketing. I create all the new salads, and yeah, that's what I do on an everyday basis. And I happen to have the privilege of living on a 50-foot sport fisher down in Cabrillo Way Marina down in San Pedro, and I'm actually the longest living live-aboard now in that part of the marina. 10 plus years.
So you've seen the changes.
Oh, yeah, no, I was the first of 3 boats when they first opened it up. Yep. Okay. It was, it was me, Nick, and Tom and Biddy. Those were the 3 boats, 2 power boats and a sailboat.
Oh, no kidding. What's it like being a live-aboard, especially in San Pedro?
You know, listen, I can have a house if I want it. I've had all the big houses, all the toys, and it's really a privilege to live down on your boat. I mean, you know, Southern California weather, it's just absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, it's gorgeous year-round.
Yeah, I mean, especially when the kids go back to school and there's very few people down on the dock. They only allow 2 live-aboards per finger. And so, you know, that is a very quiet marina. It's not like Los Alamitos or Long Beach or, you know, Newport. It's a very sleepy, quiet marina, and I really enjoy it. It's, you know, people often ask me, you know, isn't it kind of small to live on that boat? And I'm like, well, you know, all I can tell you is that I have 4 full-size closets, and, you know, I seem to only wear about 10 inches of one closet of clothes.
Okay.
And I mean, I have all the creature comforts. It's not like I'm camping down on the water. I have central heating and air. I have a wet sauna in my master bathroom. My boat's it was refurbished from top to bottom. New engines, new generator, new hardwood floors, stainless steel appliances, new toilets, new showers, new electronics, new paint inside and out about 2.5 years ago. So it's very comfortable. And, once people come down to the boat and they actually see it, they're like, oh, my God, I had no idea it was like this. And that's usually what happens. Very few people can't relate to living on the boat once they're down there.
I've done it, and I enjoyed it. It's nice to wake up on the water. It's nice to be on your boat with the sunset and going out. I used to be a dinghy racer. I'm going to get back into that because it's a lot of fun, and I knew a lot of people that really loved being a liveaboard. The legal liveaboards, of course, is always problem. You want liveaboards. Every dock should have a liveaboard because they keep the docks clean and neat, and they make sure there's no theft. So liveaboards are advantageous. Sometimes the problem is when you've got what we call them sneakaboards, and they're not boaters, and they think they found a cheap place, and they don't maintain their vessels, and so that's the problem that the marinas have to deal with, and it's an ongoing problem. But living aboard a boat and being in that marine environment, just a wonderful thing. So you must love wake. Do you take your boat out a lot? Are you a fisherman? Are you a cruiser? What do you do with your boat?
Oh, yeah. I'm an avid fisherman. You could pretty much say I'm an ex-pro fisherman. I just pretty much gave up the title because it's a lot of work. If you're really going to be a fisherman that catches fish, they call it fishing for a reason, all right?
Okay.
Right. So if you're going to be really out in the forefront and fish the tournaments and be that guy that the charter boats want to welcome you back because you're adding to the fish count, it takes a lot of effort. It's challenging. And the older you get, those fish are tougher and tougher to bring in. I was down in Cabo last week and was fishing down off of San Jose del Cabo. We got into the yellowfin tuna. 2.5 hours, I brought in 8 yellowfin tuna, and they were all about 35 pounds and one 40-pound Dorado. I was with one of my buddies, and he was done after 2, so it was just like, oh, my God. And he was 38 years old.
A youngster.
Yeah. So, fishing's work, boating's work. I take my boat out almost every weekend all year round. We really do. My wife and I, we definitely use our boat all year round. There's about 2 or 3 other boats out there. Grant, he's my neighbor. He's not a liveaboard, but he uses his boat quite often. He's a fisherman. Most of the boats in the marina stay at the dock, though.
Isn't that a shame?
They don't move.
That is a real shame. We during the Christmas parade or 4th of July, we say, it looks like people are going to come down to their boat for the first time in the year. But it's a very active and exciting thing to do. A lot of people are members of the clubs, and what I'd like to know, what do you see as the changes from the time that you owned the fish and tackle shops and with the customers that you had, and today? Actually, fish bait and tackle shops are getting rare. They're not. Why is that? I don't see them much.
Yeah, here's the problem. Bait and tackle stores need to be owner-occupied, and the reason why is because of the shrink.
Sure.
The managers are either giving it away to the customers up front or they're stealing it out the back.
Yeah, that's always a problem with retail, sure.
Yeah, so in terminal tackle, you just don't have the profit margins to be able to absorb that kind of loss. So it really has to be an owner-occupied, and I had 5 stores at the time, and it was a very challenging business. I had a couple of charter boats, and it just wasn't very lucrative. I made money the first couple of years, and then it was always something. It was raining, or the fish were too far out, or it was just always something that made it challenging to make money in that industry. It was certainly fun. I had a lot of good times. all the celebrities want to put their tackle and, their spices. Dan Hernandez has got a big line of spices that he pushes all the time. And
oh, no kidding. He's a big fish show. He's a YouTuber, right? Is he a social media influencer?
Let me tell you something. I've known him for 30 years. And at the end of the day, I fished in Nicaragua with him. I've done a couple of shows with him down in Cabo. I've been all over the place with that guy. And anywhere we go, he's just inundated with people wanting his autograph.
Oh, no kidding. That's
very,
amazing.
Very popular. He's the longest syndicated fishing show running to date.
Oh, no kidding.
He's the longest. Yeah. He lives right in Long Beach.
Really? So he's a local. I do a fish report, and I have Fisherman Dave that comes on and does fish report and tells us how good the fishing's going to be. Is it good right now where you are? Have you been out there the last couple of days?
I haven't been out in the last couple of days. I was out about a month ago and did fairly well. The fishing's starting to taper off. I mean, if you're still willing to... For me, what I do, because fuel's so expensive these days, and my boat holds 1,000 gallons of fuel, and it's about $5 a gallon right now. So, one trip, it's easy to burn through that fuel on, when we're out for 2 or 3 days. So what I do is I hop in my truck and just grab my gear and drive down to San Diego and hop on, like, the Pacific Voyager with Mark Ornos, or, I'll fish with Clay on Old Glory out of, I think it's Fisherman's or H&M, but the fishing, typically speaking, is better down south.
Oh, no kidding. Why is that? Is it warmer water?
It just, there's more structure that's holding the bait. It's just, there's not as much boating traffic as there is between L.A. harbors and Catalina, and just, there's, the boating traffic really drives down the fish, especially the pelagic fish. I'm not talking about bottom grabbers, rock cod and lean cod, but I'm more of a yellowtail, Dorado, marlin, tuna, white sea bass kind of fisherman. Those are pelagic fish.
Okay. So let me ask you about the boating lifestyle. What are you connected to any of the yacht clubs, or do you have friends on the dock? And tell me about the boating lifestyle. What it's like, what people could look forward to, and if anybody's interested, how difficult it is or how easy it is to get down there on the dock and get out of the house and be on the water. Tell me about that.
Well, first of all, it's pretty easy to buy a boat.
Well, that we know.
I mean, you can buy a boat all day long, and they're hard to sell, but you can buy a boat. And I always tell people this. If there's one thing about boating that you don't like, that includes washing it, fixing it, maintaining it, driving it, enjoying it. One of those things that you don't like, you're going to be selling that boat sooner than later.
Okay. Or at least
right?
trying.
So, yeah, or at least trying, right? So what I did, or what I do, and what I recommend to people in my area, is I joined the San Pedro Yacht Club, and for $200 a year, they reciprocate with all the yacht clubs, I believe, except for Catalina.
Okay.
And so what does that get you? It gets you being able to take your boat and take it to the yacht club up in Redondo, or Marina del Rey, or Long Beach, or Los Alamitos, or Newport. And basically, it's first come, first serve, and it's a free accommodation, whereas that would cost you $80, $90, $100, to spend the night there and have access to the yacht club and all its amenities.
That is something I talk about, the reciprocals, and I've done this. I've used the reciprocals all over the world, not just locally, and I have a spare burgee from my club, and I'm a member of a couple clubs. I'm helping rebuild the original Howard Hughes Club, the Marina Yacht Club. Wonderful group of exciting, fun people. And I'm a member of a couple other clubs where I participate in events. But the reciprocal privileges of being able to travel, put your boat in a dock, or even if you're on business or pleasure somewhere else in the country or the world, they roll out the red carpet for you. They're more excited to see me at one of the visiting clubs when I'm somewhere else than my own club. So I love that reciprocal idea. And then you get to meet people, and if you're staying a little bit, you now have almost like it's like an extended family.
Oh, absolutely. We like to go to Redondo a lot. They're very accommodating there. They have a great clubhouse, nice bar. They always have good food. They have a band usually. There's music. Most of the boating community, like 98% of the boating community, are very friendly, welcoming people, whether they're sailboaters or they're, power boaters. They're very, it's kind of a different environment, I would say, as opposed to living in a neighborhood with surrounding houses. And, we have wandering addresses. So with that, generally speaking, is a free-spirited type personality. And so that means that, we're not on our phones and our computers. We're talking and hanging out. I mean, we use our phones, obviously, but it just seems like in the inner cities, these people don't really communicate a whole lot.
They don't. They're not happy. Like at the marinas, I've noticed that. You can have a tough day at work, coming off the freeway, road rage all around you, if not, you're not being part of it. And then you wander in the marina, people are waving at you, and, power boaters and sailors alike. So that is an exciting thing, that and the reciprocals. Well, tell me some stories about going down to Mexico and the Catalina and Channel Islands. Tell me a little bit about some of your trips and some of your, the engagements that you've had.
So I have been doing this. Well, first of all, I joined the Coast Guard when I was 18 years old.
Oh, Coastie. Wow.
Yeah. So I'm an ex-Coastie. I was in the Coast Guard for 4 years, and I was stationed down off of Point Loma on the Coast Guard Cutter Point Brower on an 82-foot patrol boat. And then I got transferred to Oceanside, and I was on the Coast Guard Cutter Point Hobart there, and finished out my 4-year stint there. And so that's where I kind of got my appetite whetted for large boats. And so, I got married and had kids, and I always fished throughout that whole process. And once upon a time, I was very, very wealthy, and money comes and goes. And that was when I had the opportunity to buy my first real saltwater fishing boat, and that was a 25-foot Grady White sailfish. And I fished that boat hard for about 3 years. I mean, when I say hard, I didn't even bat an eye going 100 miles out. It had twin 250 two-stroke Yamahas. Thing hauled ass. It was very comfortable. It had a head and a shower. It was just very comfortable. So I fished that boat a lot here locally down in San Diego, because that's where I used to live, was in North County, San Diego. And so then I got an opportunity to purchase a 44-foot striker, and that was my first real big sport fisher. Paid $185,000 for it, and I had that boat for 10 years. Nice. And I fished that boat all the way down to Mag Bay and back. Okay. And just really enjoying being out there. Fortunately, I didn't have to work, real hard to sustain that lifestyle at that moment in time. And then about 5 years into owning that is when I started getting the tackle stores. And so I had an opportunity to buy my neighbor's boat, and that was a 48-foot Viking, paid $500,000 for that one. And so I had both boats, and basically I chartered them out through my tackle store, and, played that whole gamut for probably a good 5 to 7 years. And then, I took that boat many times down to Cabo and back. Many times. I'd go down there, generally speaking, around this time of year and fish the Bisbee. And, unfortunately I never won. Got close to winning, but that, those are times that you really cherish, because you're generally speaking going to take 3 to 4 weeks off to do those types of trips. And once you get down into like Mag Bay and Cetus Bank and, Potato Bank, the fishing's just off the hook, because they don't have the boating traffic pressure that you see here off the state. So typically the fishing's just a lot better. The fish are bigger, so any boater that gets an opportunity to really take their vessel and take off for a couple months. What a privilege. My buddy just left on the Baja Aha, or whatever, however you say
The
that. He just left last week.
I love the Baja Aha.
He's taken 3 months off. He's doing the whole gamut down to Cabo, and then he's going to keep on going and head over to Mexico mainland and, Zihuatanejo, Mazatlan, and Puerto Vallarta. I mean, you really get an opportunity to do something like that. Very few people really get to experience something like that. That's a very, very big privilege to be able to just take off for months like that.
That is exciting. I talk a little bit about that as well. I've had some great guests. I didn't know you chartered your boats. Let's talk about your buddy Andy, your longtime buddy at Captain's Vessels.
So Andy May he's probably forgot more than I've learned in boating. He's one of the few men captains. He's actually, I think he's still a captain, but he's one of the few guys that knows more than me about boating. He has been around boating his entire life. He was born and raised over, I believe, in Twin Harbors. Oh, it was either Twin Harbors or Avalon. I think it's Twin Harbors.
No kidding.
He went to high school over there. Yeah, he was born and raised over there. And so he's very, very seaworthy experienced. He takes a lot of boats from L.A. down to Cabo and back, and he's got a boat servicing company that he runs, and he's a hardcore fisherman. He's a avid diver. I mean, the guy smokes a pack of cigarettes a day, and
nice.
I am not kidding you. When he dives, he free dives. He can hold his breath for like 5 minutes.
No kidding.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Did you happen to see that video I sent you this morning?
Yes.
That's Andy.
I'm going to put that up on the website, and so people can look at it. Because are you a diver? You like going out there and snorkeling and diving?
I do when it's warm water. I don't like getting in that cold water. It's even with a wetsuit on. If it's warm water, I'll hop right in. I was number one swimmer in the Coast Guard. I have no problems in the water. Okay, so at the end of the day, I just don't like the cold water anymore. Andy he doesn't care. He'll jump in. He has no qualms all year round. Avid spear fisherman. We've gone out fishing and can see the yellowtail underneath the patties or the dorados underneath the patties, and they won't take our bait. He'll hop right in with a spear gun, bring 3 or 4 back.
That is so exciting. We're going to have to get him on the show as well, and I want to invite you back because actually we've barely scratched the surface of the things that I wanted to ask you and talk to you about. But and let's get Andy on the show. I'd love to have that. So anyway,
I actually already lined that up for you. He was texting me just before you called me and said, "Hey, come on, let's do a joint thing with him on the show." And I said, "Let me get through the first one myself." Okay,
we'll definitely do that. And there's an open invitation. I'll get the both of you on, and let's talk about some trips, inspiring people to get out there and start boating. If you've got a boat, go out there and use the boat. Don't just go out there on New Year's and the Christmas parade. Well, that's all the time that we have for you today. I hope you enjoyed our show with our wonderful guest. As always, we're so very fortunate to have such wonderful and exciting guests. And let's not forget the Coasties. Our guest today was a Coastie. So they're out there protecting our waters, America's lifesavers and guardians of the sea. Be sure to find us and subscribe on social media. The Boating Hour with Captain Rick, now on YouTube, Instagram, Rumble, and Facebook. We need your support, so find us on social media, give us a like, and subscribe to keep this program going. Remember, if you do it right and follow the guidelines and safety precautions, there's no place like being out in the water in the fresh air and sunshine in beautiful, sunny Southern California. Here at the Boating Hour with Captain Rick, we cover everything that sails, motors, and floats from San Diego to Santa Barbara. Thanks for being with us today. Please be sure to join us next week and every Saturday at 4 p.m. on AM 870. And thanks to our sponsor for the show today. For a healthy gut, Livia One Probiotics. Don't forget to visit us on the web at theboatinghour.com. Keep your emails coming. This is Captain Rick saying ahoy and fair winds to all.